Hi everyone, good afternoon to all. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss objective questions on structure of atom. The first question, if uncertainty in position and momentum are equal, then uncertainty in velocity is. Okay, this is the question. So you know about Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. By using that Heisenberg's uncertainty equation, we can solve this question easily. That is nothing but, what is Heisenberg's uncertainty equation? Del x into del p is equal to h by 4 pi. This is the equation. Del x, it is nothing but uncertainty in position. Del p, it is nothing but uncertainty in momentum. Simple thing. H is nothing but Planck's constant. Okay. So what he is saying in the question, uncertainty in position and momentum are equal. Nothing but he is saying del x is equal to del p. That's what he is saying. Uncertainty in position is equal to uncertainty in momentum. Okay. Then what will be the uncertainty in velocity? Here we know that momentum del p, we can write it as m del v. Is that right? Uncertainty, okay, momentum is equal to mass into uncertainty in velocity. And also, since del x is equal to del p, we can also write del x is equal to m del v. Is that right? So the same thing I am substituting here. Del x into m del v is equal to h by 4 pi. Okay. Now instead of this del x, we can substitute m del v. Is that right? So which is nothing but m del v into m del v is equal to h by 4 pi. In the question, he is asking us uncertainty in velocity. Nothing but del v he is asking us. Nothing but del v into del v. We can write it as del v square. M into m, we can write this as m square. M square del v square is equal to h by 4 pi. From this we can write del v square is equal to 1 by m square into h by 4 pi we can write. So from these we can write del v is equal to, so root of 1 by m square into h by 4 pi. So which is nothing but 1 by 2m root h by 4 pi. So this is our answer. Okay, simple question. Okay, please take this. Yeah, let us see the next question. Simple and easy question. Okay, the question looks big, but the question is easy to solve. If you once understood the question, it will be easy to solve. See the question. The measurement of the electron position is associated with an uncertainty in momentum. Uncertainty in position or electron position, it is associated with uncertainty in momentum. And he has given that is equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 18 gram centimeter per second. Now what is the uncertainty in electron velocity he is asking us. Okay. Nothing but m del v, he has given us 1 into 10 to the power minus 18 gram centimeter per second. Okay. Uncertainty in momentum, he has given us 1 into 10 to the power minus 18 gram centimeter per second. So now we need to calculate uncertainty in velocity. Nothing but del v we need to calculate. If we want to calculate del v, we need to know the mass of the electron. No, he is talking about the electron only. No, simple thing. You know the mass of the electron. M is equal to, what is the mass of the electron? 9.10 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. But he has given momentum in gram centimeter per second. Nothing but mass of the electron should also be considered in grams. So in grams it will be 9.10 into 10 to the power minus 28 grams. This is the mass of the electron in grams. Simple thing. Okay. Now del v is equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 18 by m only, na, which is nothing but 1 into 10 to the power minus 18 divided by, what is the mass of the electron? 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 28. Okay, so which is nothing but 10 to the power minus 28. If it moves to the numerator, it will be plus 28, na? Okay, remainder will be 10 only. So which is nothing but this can be written as 10 by 9.1 into 10 to the power 9, which can be written as this is equal to 100 by 91 into 10 to the power 9, can be written 91 once. Okay, so approximately we can take it as 1 into 10 to the power 9 centimeters we can consider now. Is that right? Centimeter per second. Okay, so the question, it looks big, but the answer is easy to find. Okay, please note down. Let us see the next question. See the next question. Maximum number of electrons in a subshell of an atom is determined by the following. Nothing but by using which formula we can find the total number of electrons present in a subshell he is asking. We know the formula now. Formula to calculate total number of electrons in a subshell. What is the formula? 2 into 2n plus 1. This is the formula. But if you see the given options, there is no option related to this. It appears in that way, but there is a relation. Okay, so when you see these 4 options, the format is not in this way. Okay, but in the other mode he has given. Is that right? 2 into 2n plus 1 means we can write this as 4n plus 2 also, no? Is that right? So this is our option. Is that right? So don't be in a hurry to answer the question. See the first option, 2n plus 1. So when you are in a hurry, you will tick that as the answer, because in our formula, in our books, he has given the formula to calculate the total number of electrons in a subshell as 2 into 2n plus 1. When we are in a hurry, we will just tick this, because in our formula 2n plus 1 is there. We will immediately tick this. So that is not our answer. So when you answer a question, be cool, read the question properly, and then you need to answer the question. Okay? So 2 into 2n plus 1 is nothing but 4n plus 2 only. So this is our answer. See how the questions are easy. They are very easy to answer. Once if you are thorough with the concept, it will be easy for you to answer the questions. Okay? Please take this. Let us see the next question. This is also an easy question. Okay? Which of the following is not permissible arrangement of electrons in an atom? Okay, for electron in an atom, which of these 4 quantum numbers are not permissible? Okay, so that we need to find. So remember that, okay, always L value, it will be less than the N value. Always L value, it will be less than the N value. Okay, and M values, they range from minus L to plus L, including 0. Okay, M values, they range from minus L to plus L, including 0, but they cannot be greater than the L value. Remember these 2 points. Okay, always L value is less than the L value, and M values, they range from minus L to plus L, including 0, but they cannot be greater than the L value. Please remember these points. Okay, and you know the formula to know the total number of M values. Okay, M is equal to 2L plus 1. This is the formula. Is that right? Yes or not? Now see. See these options. N is equal to 5. Principal quantum number is 5. L value is 3. L is less than N value. So this is 5. M is equal to 0. When L is equal to 3, M can have 0 as the value, no? Because when L is equal to 3 means how many M values it can have? What are the total number of M values? It will be 7. So these 7 values, okay, they range from minus L to plus L. Is that right? Nothing but, here if you see the 7 values are nothing but minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3. These are the 7 values. So minus L to plus L including 0 means this is the meaning. Okay. So here, if you see L is equal to 3, M can have these values. Any one value, any of these value can be taken up by M. That is the meaning. So here, if you see, there is 0. M is having 0 value. So this is also permissible. S, it indicates spin. It can be either in clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. So this is correct. If you see option B, N is equal to 3, L is equal to 2. Nothing but L value, if you see, it is less than the N value now. So it is also permissible. And M is equal to -2. Nothing but if L is equal to 2, M can have values ranging from -2 to +2 now. Is that right? -2 to +2. -2, -1, 0, +1, +2. So this is also correct. S is equal to -half. It can have -half or +half. Anything is correct. Okay. So C, option C, if you see, N is equal to 3, L is equal to 2. Till here it is correct. But what about M value? When L is equal to 2, M can have values ranging from -2 to +2. We will not get -3 value. So this is our wrong statement. This is our wrong option. So this is not permissible for an electron in an atom. M value, it cannot be greater than 2. It will not be more than 2. Understood what I said? If you see option D, N is equal to 4, L is equal to 0. This is also correct. M is equal to 0, S is equal to -half. So we can easily answer the questions in atomic structure. Okay, if you know the concept, it will be easy for you to answer the questions. You can score good marks in this. Okay, please take this. Let us see the next question. Easy question. Okay, energy observed by each molecule of a substance is 4.4 into 10 to the power minus 19 joules, and bond energy per molecule is 4 into 10 to the power minus 19 joules. What is the kinetic energy of the molecule per atom? He is asking. He is not asking kinetic energy of the molecule, but he is asking kinetic energy of the molecule per atom. Kinetic energy of each atom he is asking this. That is the meaning. Okay. So here he is sending an energy 4.4 into 10 to the power minus 19 joules. This is the amount of energy which is sent on a substance. Out of this is the energy which is required by each molecule to break the bonds between the atoms. So these are diatomic. The molecules are diatomic in nature. Okay. So if you see this molecule, A2 molecule, so there is a single bond between two A atoms in this way. So to break the bond between these two atoms, the energy required is 4 into 10 to the power minus 19 joules. This is the amount of energy which is required. But actually we are sending an energy 4.4 into 10 to the power minus 19 joules. What will be the remaining energy? Which is nothing but remaining energy is equal to total energy, means 4.4 into 10 to the power minus 19. This is the total energy which we are sending onto the substance. What is the energy which is utilized by the molecule to break the bonds between the atoms? Means that 4 into 10 to the power minus 19. So what will be the remaining energy? 0.4 into 10 to the power minus 19. This is the remaining energy. Nothing but this energy will be utilized by the molecule for its movement. Nothing but in case of this is the remaining energy. Okay. Actually, since each molecule contains two atoms, this is the energy for two atoms. This is the energy which is there for two atoms. But he is asking us the kinetic energy of each atom. Okay. The extra energy which is there here, it is utilized as kinetic energy. Okay, for the movement of the atoms, that is utilized. So this is the energy per molecule. Per atoms means each molecule contains two atoms. So nothing but, in order to know the kinetic energy of each atom, these should be divided by 2 now, because each molecule contains two atoms. So kinetic energy of each atom is equal to 0.4 into 10 to the power minus 19 by 2, which is nothing but 0.2 into 10 to the power minus 19 joules, or you can write it as 2 into 10 to the power minus 20 joules. So this is the kinetic energy of each atom present in the molecule. Okay, very simple thing. This is the total energy. This is the energy which is required to break the bonds between the atoms. So the remaining energy is nothing but 0.4 into 10 to the power minus 19, that is used for the movement. For its it is used as kinetic energy. For its movement it is utilized. But this energy is equal to 2 atoms. He is asking per atom. That is why we are dividing these with 2. Because each molecule is made of 2 atoms. Okay, simple thing. Please take this. So the next question, see the next question. Which of the following has electronic configuration argon 3d6? Okay, so among the following elements, which element is having that configuration they were asking. Let us first see the number of electrons represented by this configuration. Argon, atomic number of argon is nothing but 18. Okay, this 18 plus 3d6 means 6 electrons. So total it will be 24. There are 24 electrons in this. So which ion will have the same number of electrons? Let us see. Cobalt. We know atomic number of cobalt is 27 plus 3 means 3 electrons are lost. Nothing but it will be 24 only. Na? So first option itself we are getting the answer. Nickel. You know the atomic number of nickel, no? Yes or not? Nickel is nothing but 28. Plus 3 means what? Minus 3, which is nothing but 25. So this is not our answer. In the same way, manganese, atomic number is 25. Plus 3 means 3 electrons are lost. Remaining will be 22. Iron, atomic number is 26. Plus 3 means 3 electrons are lost, which is nothing but 22. Okay, so our option is cobalt in its plus 3 state. So to answer these type of questions, you need to know the atomic numbers. Nothing but names of the elements. At least till 30 you need to know their configurations. Okay, and atomic numbers of the elements you need to know. Okay, please take this. Let us see the next question. Easy question. See, if n is equal to 6, principal quantum number he has given us 6. The correct sequence for filling of electrons will be, okay, we know that in order to fill the electrons in orbitals, okay, we need to follow 3 principles: Aufbau principle, Pauli's exclusion principle, Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. What is Aufbau principle? Orbitals which are having lower energy, they are to be filled first with the electrons. Then the orbitals which are having higher energy can be filled. So lower energy orbitals are first filled with the electrons. That is nothing but Aufbau principle. Or electrons get filled in the increasing order of their energies. Okay, this is nothing but Aufbau principle. So among these ns, np, n minus 1 into d, n minus 2 into f, we need to know which orbital is having lower energy. Okay, if you know the energy order of these orbitals, we can know in which order the electrons get filled in these orbitals. So he has given n is equal to 6. The meaning of this is, okay, ns means it represents 6s. Okay, np, it represents 6p. Okay. In the same way, n minus 1 into d, this represents, okay, n minus 1 means 6 minus 1, it represents 5. In the same way, n minus 2 into f, it represents 4. You know how to know the energy of an orbital. Okay, energy of an orbital can be known from its n plus L value. Based on n plus L value, we can know the energy of the orbital. Okay, principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number. If you see 6s, what is the n plus L value for this? N value is 6. L value for s is nothing but 0. So it will be 6. In the same way, 6p, if you consider n value is 6, L value for p, you know that is 1. L value for p is nothing but 1. So this is 7. In the same way, n minus 1 into d. Okay, so n is 6. 6 minus 1 means here we know it is 5d. This is nothing but n value is 5 here. D value, L value for d means it will be 2 na. So this is also equal to 7. Okay, nothing but here if you see 6p and 5d, they are having the same n plus L value, but which will be having more energy? It depends on the principal quantum number. The orbital which is having more principal quantum number, it will have more energy. Nothing but among 6p and 5d, 6p will have more energy. Okay. In the same way, n minus 2 into f, this is nothing but 4f. This is equal to 4 plus 3, which is nothing but 7. These also we are getting the same value. So 6p, 5d, 4f, we are getting the same values. But if you see this, as I said before, okay, so those orbitals which are having high principal quantum number, they will have the same energy. Among 5d and 4f, okay, 4f will have low energy compared to 5d, because in case of 5d, principal quantum number is more, 5. Here it is 4. Okay, so now how the electrons get filled in these orbitals? Okay, look here, among 6s, 6p, 5d, 4f, which is having low n plus L value, 6s. So first electrons get filled in the 6s orbital. Next, electrons will move into 4f. 6s, next they will move into 4f. Next electrons will move into 5d. Next electrons will move into 6p. This will be the order. Nothing but which is our answer? B is our answer. Ns, 6s, 4f, 5d, 6p. That is our answer. Okay, please take this. Next, this is also a simple question. So, the energies E1 and E2 of two radiations are 2.5 electron volts and 5 electron volts respectively. Nothing but he has given energy of two radiations. Okay, E1 is equal to 2.5 electron volts, E2 is nothing but 5 electron volts. Okay, now he is asking us what is the relation between their wavelengths. If their energies are 2.5 and 5 electron volts, what is the relation between their wavelengths? He has given the wavelength of first radiation as L1, the wavelength of the second radiation as L2. Okay, we need to find the relation between these two. Okay, simple thing only now. What is the formula for energy? E is equal to h nu. This is Planck's equation only now. So this can be written as hc by lambda. Is that right? Here if you see, energy and wavelength, they are inversely proportional. So h is a Planck's constant. Well, c is nothing but velocity of light. So we need the relation between E and h. They are inversely proportional. Okay. From this we can write E1 by E2 is equal to lambda 2 by lambda 1 now. Is that right? Okay. Now E1 and E2 he has given in the question. What he has given in the question? 2.5. E1, energy of first radiation 2.5, energy of second radiation 5. Okay. This is equal to lambda 2 by lambda 1. We need to find L2 by L1. Okay. So which is nothing but 2 here. So from this L1 is equal to 2L2. Is this the relation or not? L1 is equal to 2L2. So this is our answer. Wavelength of first radiation is double the wavelength of the second radiation. Simple question. Okay, please take it. So let us see the next question. Easy question. See, maximum number of electrons in a subshell with L is equal to 3, N is equal to 4 is. Okay. How many electrons can have L value as 3 and N value as 4? He is asking us. So in order to answer this question, we need to know which subshell it is represented. Okay. So L is equal to 4, L is equal to 3. L is equal to 3 means it is representing F subshell only now, 4F. Okay. We know that F subshell has 7 orbitals. F has 7 orbitals. 7 orbitals means how many electrons can be accommodated? Each orbital maximum it can accommodate 2 electrons. 7 orbitals are present in F subshell. Nothing but total 14 electrons can be accommodated. Is that right? All the 14 electrons will have N value as 4, L value as 3. Okay, so our answer is 14. Simple question. See, from quantum numbers you can see how the questions are being asked, how they are asking the questions. They are easy to answer. Don't get confusion. So if you are in a hurry, you will lose your mark. Please be careful. These are all easy questions. Okay, please take this. Let us see the next question. The correct set of 4 quantum numbers, okay, for the valence electron of rubidium atom is. So he has given quantum number values in the 4 options. Okay, which set is correct for the valence electron of rubidium he is asking. What is valence electron? The last electron, we call that as the valence electron. Okay, in order to know that, first we need to write the electronic configuration of rubidium. Okay, so by writing the electronic configuration of rubidium, we will be knowing in which shell the valence electron is present, and in which subshell it is present, in which orbital it is present, we will be knowing. First, let us write the electronic configuration. Okay, rubidium, he has given the atomic number also. This is nothing but 37. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10, 4p6, 5s1. You can see this. Okay, so 10 electrons, 10, 20, 30, 37. So how the electrons got filled in these orbitals? Based on the 3 principles, you know that, of Bohr, Pauli's and Hund's rule. By following those principles, we need to fill the electrons in the orbitals. Okay, so here if you see 5s1, this is the last electron, that is nothing but the valence electron. Electrons present in the outermost shell, we call them as valence electrons. So here it is 5s. Okay, so in this 5s1, if you consider, what is the principal quantum number? 5. What is the azimuthal quantum number? What is the L value for S? 0. If L is 0, M will also be 0, no? Okay, then S will be either plus half or minus half. So which is our answer among these options? First one. If you see second option, then if you see second option, L value is 1 here. L value is 1 for P, but our outermost electron is present in 5s. For S, L value is 0. So this is not our option. If you see this one, okay, the same thing is represented here. If you see D, principal quantum number is 5 here, but it is 6 here. This is also wrong. So the only option is nothing but option A. That is our correct answer. Okay, simple questions. Take this. Let us see the next question. See the next question. The orbital angular momentum for a p electron is given us. Orbital angular momentum for a p electron. So in order to calculate orbital angular momentum for a p electron, what is the formula? What is the formula? Angular momentum is equal to root of L into L plus 1 H by 2 pi. This is the formula. Okay, so this is equal to, for p electron, what is the L value? L value for p electron is nothing but 1. L value for p electron is 1. So substitute in this formula. This is nothing but root of 1 into 1 plus 1 H by 2 pi. This is nothing but root 2 H by 2 pi. This can also be written as H by root 2 pi. It can be written in this way. So this is the orbital angular momentum for p electron. Okay, please take this. Next question, see the next question. What is the maximum number of electrons that can be associated with the following set of quantum numbers? This is the question. N value is 3, L value is 1, M is equal to minus 1. Okay, these are the quantum number values that he has given. So how many electrons can have these quantum number values he is asking us. Okay, so N is equal to 3, L is equal to 1. Which subshell it is representing? It is representing 3p subshell only, na? So M is equal to minus 1 means it is representing one of the orbital. It can be either 3px or 3py or 3pz. Any one orbital it is representing. Let us think these are 3px. So 3px means, okay, 3px is the orbital. This orbital contains how many electrons? 2 electrons. Is that right? So nothing but the answer is 2 electrons. 2 electrons can have these 3 quantum number values. For both the electrons, it can have L is equal to 3, L is equal to 1, M is equal to minus 1. So our answer will be C. Okay. take this. Yeah, next question. What is the maximum number of orbitals that can be identified with the following quantum numbers? Okay, so with these quantum numbers, how many orbitals can be identified, he is asking. So it is similar to the previous question, but in the previous question he is asking about the electrons, but in this question he is asking about the orbitals. Please remember that. Okay, you will be in a confused mode. Okay, so please observe here, in the last question he is talking about the number of electrons. In this question he is talking about the number of orbitals. Okay, look here, if n is equal to 3, L is equal to 1, then it represents 3p orbital only, na? So 3p, it can have this 3p subshell, it represents 3p subshell. Okay, this 3p subshell, it can have 3 orbitals. What are they? 3px, 3py, 3pz. And you know the m values. Okay, it can be -1, 0, +1. Nothing but one of the orbital it represents. Okay, either it can be 3py or 3px or 3pz. Any one orbital it will represent. Here m is equal to 0 means it represents only one orbital. So our answer is option A. Okay, he is not asking the electrons, he is asking the orbitals. It represents only one orbital. Okay, please take this. Let us see the next question. See the next question. Calculate the energy in Joule corresponding to light of wavelength 45 nanometers. He has given the wavelength of the light, that is nothing but 45 nanometers. He is asking the energy of that light in joules. You know the relation between energy and wavelength, na? Planck's equation you know, na? E is equal to h nu. This is Planck's equation. Nu he has been given to calculate the energy. He has given the wavelength. So we know that nu is equal to c by lambda, no? So we can substitute instead of this nu c by lambda, which is nothing but hc by lambda. Is that right? This is equal to h, Planck's constant. What is the value? 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule seconds into velocity of light 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second. Wavelength, how much he has given? 45 nanometers. Nothing but 45 into 1 nanometer is equal to 10 to the power minus 8 meters. This is the value. So we need to convert these nanometers into meters. 45 into 10 to the power minus 9. Okay? 10 to the power minus 9. If it moves to the numerator, it will be plus 9. Plus 9 and plus 8, it will be 17. Plus 17 minus 34 minus 17. Okay? 3, 15 times. 15, 0.44. So it will be around 4.4 into 10 to the power minus 18 joules. This is our answer. Simple question. Okay, take this. Now let us see the next question. See the next question. Magnetic moment 2.4 Bohr magnetons is given by. Okay, 2.84 Bohr magnetons is given by which ion he is asking. Okay, whether it is nickel or titanium or chromium or cobalt. Okay, magnetic moment value depends on the number of unpaired electrons. Okay, so there is a formula to calculate the magnetic moment of an atom. So that is nothing but magnetic moment is equal to nothing but mu is equal to root of n into n plus 2. This is the formula. Root of n into n plus 2. This is the formula. Here n indicates number of unpaired electrons. Number of unpaired electrons. Okay. Here n indicates number of unpaired electrons. See, Ni2 plus. What is the atomic number of nickel? It is nothing but 28. Okay. So outermost electronic configuration will be 3d8 4s2 or 4s2 3d8 you can write, no problem. 4s2 3d8. So here plus 2, nothing but 2 electrons are lost. So it will be 3d8 only. 3d8 means if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 2 unpaired electrons in this now. So you can substitute n is equal to 2 here. This is equal to root of 2 into 2 plus 2, which is nothing but root 8. So which is approximately, it will be equal to 2.84 Bohr magnetons. Okay, so this is the way to find magnetic moment value. So use this formula. Keep this formula in mind. Root of n into n plus 2. N represents number of unpaired electrons. Okay, so substitute and check. For which ion we are getting the value 2.84. That is our answer. For example, if you consider titanium. Okay, what is the atomic number of titanium? It is nothing but 22. Configuration will be 4s2, 3d2. Less 3 means 3 electrons are lost. 2 from 4s, 1 from 3d. So 1 electron will be remaining. So root of 1 into 1 plus 2, nothing but root 3. Root 3 means it will be 1.732. So it is not matching with the given magnetic moment value. So this is the way to check. Check the number of unpaired electrons and just substitute in this formula. You will get the magnetic moment value. Okay, please take this. So our answer will be Na2 plus. Let us see the next question. Which of the following pairs of orbitals will have electron density along the axis? Okay. So here in the options he has given the d orbitals. Okay. So we know that there are 5 d orbitals. In d subshell there are 5 d orbitals. dxy, dxz, dyz, dx square minus y square, dz square. Among these 5 d orbitals, dxy, dxz and dyz, they are having orbitals in between the axis. In between the axis. In between the axis. Okay. The remaining 2 orbitals, okay, they are having the orbitals along the axis. Along the axis. Remember this point. If you see dx square minus y square and dz square, okay, x1. See, this is nothing but dx square minus y square. Orbitals are present along the axis. Along x and y axis, orbitals are present. In the same way, when we consider dz square, okay, this is nothing but dz square. Okay, so here also if you see, orbital is present along the z axis. But in case of dxy, dxz and dyz, they will be present in between the axis. For example, if you consider dxy, okay, x and this is y, they are present in these. In between the axis, they will be present. dx. In the same way, dxz, dyz. So, in the question, he is asking us which pair of orbitals will have electron density along the axis. Okay, so they are nothing but dx square minus y square, dz square. Option A will be the answer. Please take that. Let us see the next mission. See the next mission. Which of the following series of transitions in the spectrum of hydrogen atom falls in the visible region? Okay. So we have seen in the hydrogen spectrum. Okay. So there are different lines. All the lines which are present in the spectrum of hydrogen, they are classified into different series. Okay, based on the wavelengths, okay, or frequency, these lines are classified into different series. They are nothing but Lyman series, Bauman series, Balmer series, Paschen series, Brackett series, Fund series. In this way, okay, based on the wavelengths or frequency of the lines, okay, all the lines in the spectrum of hydrogen are classified into different series. If you see Lyman series, it falls under ultraviolet region, UV region. If you see Balmer series, it is present in visible region. This is the only series which can be seen with our naked eyes. Balmer series, it is seen in the visible region. The remaining Paschen series, Brackett series, one more series, Fund series, they come under infrared region. They fall under infrared region. So in the question, he is asking us which series comes under visible region. Balmer series. So theory based question, simple questions. Okay. See the next question. The angular momentum of electrons in d orbital is equal to. Okay. So you know the formula for angular momentum of electron in d orbital. What is the formula? Root of L into L plus 1 h by 2 pi. This is the formula for angular momentum of electrons in d orbital. This formula we need to use. So what is the L value for D? L value for D is nothing but how much it will be? It is 2 here. So this is nothing but this is equal to root of 2 into 2 plus 1 h by 2 pi. Okay, so which is nothing but root of 2 into 2 plus 1 means root 6 h by 2 pi. This is our answer. So when we see this answer and our options, it is not getting tallied. Nothing but here, if you see this h naught which he has given, h naught represents h by 2 pi only. H naught which he has given in the options, that is nothing but h by 2 pi only. It represents h by 2 pi. Nothing but what will be the answer? This is equal to, this can be written as root 6 h naught. Okay, so this is our answer. Simple question. Okay. Okay. So these are the previous year questions. Okay. So you can just observe from which part of the lesson they are giving the questions and how they are giving the questions. Analysis of a question is very important in competitive exams. Okay, you need to analyze the question, how the questions are being asked, from which part they are asking the questions. If you see atomic structures, okay, they are asking the questions from quantum numbers, okay, from Planck's equation they have asked the questions. Is that right? And from Heisenberg's uncertainty principle we have seen the questions. Is that right? Okay, and from Lyman series, from the spectrum he has asked the question. Okay, so see from which part he is asking the question. Okay, please keep more concentration on that part. Okay, so thank you all for watching this video. If you like the video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you all.
So